Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, developer Daedalic Entertainment have explained why their DLC that adds more Elvish to the Lord of the Rings Gollum comes with a price tag. As part of the game's pre-order campaign, it's been offering the Precious Special Edition, which comes with 4 extras that players of the Standard Edition will be able to buy separately as DLC. One of these is a voiceover expansion for the Elvish language Sindarin, which basically just makes the elves speak more Elvish in the game. It turns out that all players will hear some Sindarin, but this adds more of it. The studio says that the price reflects the effort involved in adding it as a spoken language. Daedalic said in a statement, "The elves in the base game will speak in their tongue from time to time. On top of that, the Sindarin VO expansion adds additional Sindarin lines to some of the characters in the background. While traversing through Mirkwood and other parts of Middle-earth, Gollum will be able to listen to various dialogues between elves. These dialogues add to the atmosphere and world building. With the Sindarin VO, these dialogues will be held in Sindarin." Now, while some people may expect the extra Elvish to be included by default, the studio pleads for some understanding of the process involved in adding a fictional language, both in spoken and written form, by saying, "Daedalic went the extra mile here and hired professional voice actors who were trained in Sindarin by our lore experts. It's a DLC for the real Tolkien devotees who want to immerse themselves even more in the world of Middle-earth." The Precious Edition also features 3 other pieces of DLC alongside the Sindarin voice pack. There's a collection of concept art which is titled The Lore Compendium. There's also the OST. It's also worth saying that it's priced at roughly $10 more than the Standard Edition anyway, so at least it's not a massive jump in price for the little extras. But sticking with DLC, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as the Wave 4 DLC release date has now been announced, called Future Redeemed. This new story will connect all 3 games from the franchise. Previous protagonists in Xenoblade Chronicles, Shulk and Rex, will reappear in the newest DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The new story scenario actually takes place before Xenoblade Chronicles 3, though do keep in mind that Shulk and Rex do look different, as Shulk sports longer hair and seems to be in the Defender class. The DLC also features a new Unity combo battle mechanic that has 2 characters teaming up to dish out an attack. However, if you're looking to pick up something for free, then this next story might be for you, as developer QCF Design took the decision to make the original desktop dungeons entirely free for a limited time. This offer will expire on the 25th of April. The reason behind this decision is to celebrate the launch of Desktop Dungeons Rewind, which is a remaster of the original Desktop Dungeons. But if you've never heard of Desktop Dungeons before, it's a 2013 turn-based quick-play puzzle roguelike, and I'll leave a link to it in the description so that you can claim it while you can. In other news though, Small Impact Games and publisher Team 17 have announced United Allies, which is the largest content update for its early access shooter Marauders. It's set to launch on April the 25th. The United Allies patch will add a colossal new cruiser for players to raid, which is owned by the update's United Allies faction. Aside from the new ship, the United Allies will also bring new cosmetics and equipment for players to loot, including hand grenades, a China Lake grenade launcher, and Sherman plate armor. The update also brings 14 new ships for players, who will be able to get their hands on them by purchasing them through an in-game vendor or commandeering the ships in battle. Additionally, Small Impact Games have detailed a number of community requested features that will also arrive in Marauders with the new update, including a proximity voice chat to allow players to communicate with fellow raiders, and a new resource called Wreckage, which will allow players to conduct in-flight salvaging through ship airlocks. Small Impact Games have also teased that explosive barrels and in-raid vendors will also be introduced in the United Allies update. Marauders originally launched through Steam's early access last October, and is set in an alternate reality where World War I never ended, and in this timeline, players are dubbed Marauders, and they must fight each other and AI enemies to escape raids with new weapons, armor and loot. In other news though, Warner Brothers have revealed an all-new multiplayer set in the world of Hogwarts called Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Quidditch Champions was announced via a tweet, which announced not just the game but also limited playtest sign-ups that are now open. It's being developed by Unbroken Studios, which is the creator of the cancelled Mad Max-style Battle Royale Fractured Lands, and they're also supporting Rocksteady in the development of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Quidditch Champions will be published by Portkey Games, which of course is a Warner Brothers publishing label dedicated to Harry Potter games. An FAQ says that the project has been in development for several years, which could be a factor in the decision to exclude Quidditch from Hogwarts Legacy. Although nothing has been said in that regard, neither pricing or a release date have been announced as well, but it will be available for PC and unspecified consoles, and apparently there'll be more to do than just play Quidditch. As the FAQ states, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is a complete standalone Quidditch experience. It engages players in the sport of Quidditch and other broomstick adventures alongside friends in a competitive multiplayer setting. The FAQ also strongly suggests that while Harry Potter is in the game title, he won't actually be in the game, much like Hogwarts Legacy. The FAQ goes on to say, while portkey games are not direct adaptations of the books and films, the games are firmly rooted in the magical universe of the Wizarding World. While remaining true to J.K. Rowling's original version, portkey game developers chart new territory by creating a fresh way for fans to immerse themselves in the Wizarding World. Each experience offered under portkey games will take place in the Wizarding World and will be authentic to it. J.K. Rowling is hugely supportive of portkey games and has entrusted the design and creation of the games to WB Games and the developers involved. For now though, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is taking sign-ups for limited playtests, and you can dive into more on the official Quidditch Champions Discord server. Our next story though comes from developer Fantastic, as they have announced the day before is set for release on November the 10th, 2023, without any further delay. In the announcement they also stated, as we get closer to the release date, we will be conducting a beta test for the game, and this will give players the opportunity to try out the game before it's released, and will let you give us valuable feedback that we will use to improve the final product. They also said that they're working on getting it released on Steam. Of course, Fantastic itself claimed that its Steam page had been blocked at the request of a private individual who held a US trademark for the name The Day Before, who later turned out to be the owner of the Korean The Day Before calendar app. I imagine that the Steam page won't return until that dispute is actually resolved, which might be tricky given that the Korean app developers claim to hold the right to 6 countries, plus the European Union. But The Day Before is not the only upcoming game with a confirmed release date, as Oxenfree 2 has also been given theirs. Oxenfree 2 is set to launch on July the 12th, 2023. In a press release, the developers confirmed that the game will launch simultaneously on Switch, PS5, PS4 and Steam. It will be priced at $20, but you'll also be able to get it on launch day through Netflix at any subscription tier. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals is set 5 years after the original game, following Riley Poverly as she explores unusual radio signals in her hometown and gets wrapped up in a supernatural mystery on the nearby Edwards Island. Developer Night School is building on the original's unique dialogue system, where narrative choices are made in real time as you explore the world. Studio director Sean Crankle said in a press release, "With Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals, we wanted to jump into the essence and the world that made the original game so special, while immersing players in a brand new story with even higher stakes. The game has been a labour of love, and we can't wait for players to embody Riley, shaping her through life-altering choices and overcoming supernatural challenges that threaten to destroy her future." The game was originally announced in 2021 for launch the same year, but was eventually delayed to 2022 and then to 2023. During the course of those delays, Netflix acquired Night School, marking one of the early big steps for its push into video games. In other news though, Atari has announced that it's now acquired the rights to over 100 PC and console games of the 80s and 90s. The company intends to expand digital and physical distribution of the classic titles, create new games based on those IPs, and explore brand new merchandising collaborations. We don't have the full list of titles that Atari has picked up yet, but they do include games originally published by Accolade, Infogrames, and Microprose. Atari specifically calls out Bubsy, Hardball and Demolition Racer, as well as the flight sims 1942 Pacific Air War, F-11-7A and F-14 as titles now included in their catalogue. As for our final story this week though, Epic Games have acquired a Brazil-based studio known as Aquiris for an undisclosed sum. The studio, which Epic first invested in early 2022, will be the foundation of the company's first Latin American studio, Epic Games Brazil. Founded in 2007 and headquartered in the city of Porto Alegre, Aquiris is joining Epic Games to work on Fortnite. The Aquiris CEO, who now works as the studio director at Epic Games Brazil, said, "Joining Epic Games builds on our success in creating memorable games, including Wonderbox, Horizon Chase 2 and Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, which we will continue to operate. We are delighted to leverage our experience using Unreal Engine on game development to contribute to the future of Fortnite." Aquiris has been on the forefront of game development in Brazil and Latin America, and becoming part of Epic Games will spotlight our region developers for the entire industry. Executive Vice President of Game Development at Epic, Elaine Taskin, also added, "We've seen firsthand the impressive talents of the Aquiris team in creating innovative games that draw global appeal, and we are excited to welcome them to Epic Games with the creation of Epic Games Brazil. We look forward to tapping into the immense talent the region has to offer and establishing our presence in Latin America." But that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed this week, please leave it in the comment section below as always, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.